you think to build your future in France? Let's see whether it's worth. So if you take all around the world, 20% of students outside the French speaking countries are learning French as a language. Why? Because they expect, just like you, two things. One, they expect higher education opportunities because French universities used to have a very prestigious position in higher education sector. Second thing is people expect good career opportunities. They believe that if you can speak French and if you graduate from a French university, you will be able to find a good job opportunities. Now, today, what I'm going to discuss is learning French in the future. Will it be worthy? French almost had their seventh prime minister since 2017. And why these changes? What's happening in France? Let's try to talk about it. France, according to my belief, is no longer a utopia for foreigners. Why? France has two major issues. One, it has a political crisis. The second one is the most important one. It is in an economic crisis and there's no return for it. The France is heading towards an economic crisis. Why I'm saying like that? So most important thing you have to remember is when economic collapse, everything will go wrong. That's why I said learning French will no longer an option for your future opportunities. I'll tell what is this economic crisis. Let's assume a France as a person. So this is France. France is earning $100 as a salary per month. But even though it earns $100 as a salary per month, it has to pay $114 as the monthly loans. So that means as a loans, the amount of debt you have to pay is $114. Obviously, you can see that it's not sustainable. Moreover, you can clearly see that France's economic situation is getting bad. The debt to GDP ratio almost doubled within last 15 years. So that means things in France in the economy is not working well. But some might argue debt to GDP ratio doesn't tell that whether a country going for bankruptcy or not. But the situation in France is different. Why I'm saying it's different? First thing is most of these loans are not within France. Almost 50% of France's debt is from foreign investments. If they stop paying these debts, what will happen? The credibility of France in the international market will no longer be there. Plus, the second thing is at the moment, the Europe is in a war with Russia. Why with the war with Russia will make France in a economically like bad position? The reason is Russia used to be the one who produced economically feasible energy supply to France. Almost 70% of the gas supply came from Russia. And this energy is so cheap. If you get energy for low cost, then you can easily make products which have a price which is very low, then you can compete in the international market. But when you lose these energy options, then your prices of your products will go up. As a result of that, you will no longer have good competing opportunities in the market. Second thing, because of this war, now France has to spend huge amount of money on as their defense budget. So they have to invest more money in their military. Third thing, more than this, France has the one of the huge government authorities, which means 57.1% from your GDP you have to invest on government authorities, which means as we take the France again as the story, you are earning $100 as your monthly salary and you need $57 from that as your expenses. Plus, you have to pay $114 as your debt. Obviously, this is not going to be sustainable at all. There are more things. Situation in France is getting even worse because most of the African countries stop sending raw materials to France, especially like Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. They have stopped sending their raw materials. France mainly based on these raw materials during in their production. So when you don't have raw materials and when you are in economic crisis, obviously the next thing that we can expect is a political crisis. Right. What will happen when all these things go wrong? Obviously, if a teacher is doing teaching, a businessman is doing business, a politicians will do politics. So in any country, there's a political movement which is the far right movement. You can clearly see that popularity of France, far right politics is increasing. What they are doing is they are showing the reason for all these problems as immigrants. So that means they are doing their far right politics. So that means inside France, now there are going to be a belief that immigrants are the ones who are causing all these problems. With that, as a student, if you move to France, what will happen to you? You can expect mainly four things inside France. So when you move to France, these are the things that you can expect from them. You will be expecting new rules and regulation to control immigration, and there will be violence activities against immigrants, so you will no longer feel safe when you're outside with public. Other than that, there will be unfair job opportunities. Even you finish your higher education in France and even you speak French fluently, there's a very little opportunity that you will end up in a job. Moreover than, there'll be bureaucratic challenges because when this far right politics comes into power, there'll be bureaucratic challenges for you when you are accessing government services. So, according to my belief, all the things I have studied from now is France is no longer a dream for a foreigner. So then you might be asking what we should do. I think it's high time to start learning Mandarin. That's a different topic. We'll discuss soon. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. See you soon.